Diane! No, no, no.
To all of yous out there who believe that angels should look and behave a certain way, eat my shorts.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today I think we've actually done it. I think we cracked the code on angels. Now, people have been trying to make angel tribal work, and I think they've overlooked a very, very key ingredient to making it competitive and possibly even maybe tier 1. Possibly. But before we dive in, make sure you like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and grow the channel, so I really appreciate it. Hit that notification icon, the bell shape there, so that you're always notified when there's another video, and let's dive right in. So first off, let me just get it out of the way that this deck was built for best of 3. Most of the decks on this channel are built for best of 1, because we're trying to show off a core concept. But every now and then a deck comes along that just has perfect sideboard choices that just synergize with what the deck's doing and tend to be a really integral part. So at the end of this deck tech, we'll get to those sideboard choices really quickly. But let's start with the core component of the deck that I think most people are overlooking when it comes to angels. And that's the fact that there are so many really good angel token makers. Now, angel tokens are 4/4 flyers with vigilance. They're some of the best tokens that tend to be made in the current standard environment, and I thought what better way to take advantage of that than cards that actually maximize the potential of tokens. So at the core of the deck, we have 4 Rampage of the Valkyries. Now this is a 5-drop enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. So it's essentially the same stats as a Serra Angel, right? Although it takes 1 black instead of 2 white. But it also makes it so that whenever one of your angels dies, they have to sacrifice a creature. So in Angel Tribal, this is amazing. If you can just fill up the board, if you're up against an aggro deck or a mid-range deck, like, they can't compete with your value. And you can win through attrition almost every time if they can't get rid of this enchantment. So in that way, it's incredible. And then we also have Firja's Retribution, which is a 4-drop saga. On Chapter 1, you make an Angel Warrior token. On Chapter 2, all of your angels gain the ability to tap to destroy any creature with power less than their power. On Chapter 3, all of your angels gain Double Strike. So again, another enchantment, makes an Angel Warrior token when it comes into play, and then gives you a bunch of extra utility and extra value in subsequent turns, which is important. And then we've also got 3 copies of Starnheim Unleashed. Starnheim Unleashed, you can slam it for 4 mana and just make 1 4/4 flying vigilance angel, which by itself is still pretty decent, right? That's on rate. That's 1 mana less than a Serra Angel, and you essentially get a Serra Angel. So it's not bad. But where this card really shines is if we can foretell it on turn 2, or any subsequent turn really, and then we can play it for 5, or maybe 7, or maybe even 9 mana, and get 2, 3, 4 tokens all at once. Now, why do these tokens matter so much? Well, not only are these tokens going to make them sacrifice creatures whenever they die, when we have Rampage of the Valkyries in play, but we're utilizing Esika's Chariot. Now, Esika's Chariot is a 4-mana, 4/4 legendary artifact vehicle. When it comes into play, it creates 2 2/2 green cat creature tokens, which can effectively crew it by themselves. But then it also has an ability where when it attacks, you can create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Now, because most of the cards in this deck are slamming angel tokens constantly, chances are by the time you play the Chariot, you're already going to have an angel token down to copy. And even if you don't, chances are extremely good that in subsequent turns, you're going to be slamming angel tokens onto the field, and then you're going to get to attack with the Chariot and make another one. And you can just generate so much value with this that it's nuts. And then the 2/2 cats are just kind of gravy at that point, right? They're a way to crew the chariot. They're a way to maybe just have some chump blockers. Gravy is never a bad thing. Now, we've also got 4 copies of Binding the Old Gods because it's great removal that, again, adds extra edge value with Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, and that we can search out our triomes with Chapter 2, put a forest onto the field that can also generate black or white mana, which is incredibly important. We ramp up so that we have enough mana to play our high-cost stuff, like a really big Starnheim Unleashed, or potentially even our Emeria's Call, which is normally coming down as a land, but if we get into the late game, being able to make 2 4/4 Vigilance Flying Angel tokens for 1 card, which work in tandem with our Saga, with our Rampage of the Valkyries, is great gravy. Absolutely awesome. We've also got 1 copy of Legion Angel with 3 in the sideboard because it's absolutely amazing. And if you happen to draw into it, you generate a ton of value where you basically get 4 angels on the field over the course of 4 turns for 1 card, which is just way too good to ignore in most decks that are running white, let alone an Angel Tribal deck. So there's tons of value here. And then if we go down to our 2-drop slot, we have Flicker of Fate. Now, Flicker of Fate is awesome because we can re-trigger a Rampage of the Valkyries. We can re-trigger the Firja's Retribution. We can re-trigger Binding the Old Gods. Whatever we need to do, if we need to make more angels, or we need to take an extra turn to delay getting some of the abilities from Firja's Retribution until we have more angels on the board to take advantage of them, like, we could do stuff like that, re-trigger the sagas or the Rampage with the Flicker of Fate, get more angel tokens, and then reset the chapters on Retribution, reset the chapters on Binding the Old Gods. We can flicker Binding and kill something else. Like, absolutely versatile and awesome. We even get some edge value with the chariot itself, where we can flicker the chariot and bring it back into play and generate 2 more 2/2 cat tokens, which is really, really great as this edge value sort of extra thing we can do if we absolutely need to. What's really cool is we can dodge opponents' removal as well. So if they try to, like, ECD one of our enchantments, or we crew the chariot and they try to kill it with a creature kill spell, we can just flicker it in response. So not only do we get to re-trigger the things we want to re-trigger, make more tokens, etc., but we also get to dodge removal and make them waste one of their cards, which is absolutely cool. Rounding out the curve, if we start back at 2, we've got 4 Youthful Valkyries and 2 Masked Vandals. The Youthful Valkyries are just the absolute best 2-drop angel that we can put in the deck. They're 1/3 flyers, so they dodge shocks, they dodge stomps. They're a little bit harder to remove than most 2-drop creatures, but they get bigger and bigger and bigger with each angel that you play. So a lot of times this thing becomes threatening enough as just a 2-drop that they have to waste a piece of removal on it, which means one of your better angels later in the game isn't going to die to that piece of removal, which is just awesome. Also, because it has a decently sized toughness for its cost, we have Righteous Valkyrie in our 3-drop slot, and we can gain a decent amount of life off dropping a Youthful Valkyrie after we have a Righteous Valkyrie into play. But we'll get back to that in a minute. We've got these 2 Masked Vandals, and what's cool about the Masked Vandals is, again, they have a 3 toughness, so we can gain decent life off them. They count as angels, so they'll trigger the Valkyrie getting counters. They'll trigger the Righteous Valkyrie gaining us life. They'll trigger all of our angel synergies. They'll make opponents sacrifice creatures if we have a Rampage of the Valkyries in play and we chump block with it. Like, there's so much edge value and synergy we get off this Masked Vandal because it's a changeling. But then we also have the added ability to remove problem artifacts and enchantments from the opponent's side of the board a little bit later in the game. So maybe we're dropping a Masked Vandal on curve and it's just a 1/3 angel for 2. But then later in the game, if we top deck it, it could be just that card that we need to remove their Great Henge, to remove their Embercleave, to remove some big enchantment or artifact threat on their side of the board. And that could make all the difference. And what's really cool is we can also just play this early on, say, turn 2, And then later in the game, if we have a creature in the graveyard to remove with it in order to generate the ability, we can just use Flicker of Fate. It's another target for Flicker of Fate where we can flicker the Masked Vandal that's already in play, exile a creature from our graveyard, and take out one of their artifacts or enchantments. So there's just tons of synergy in this deck, and like, it does so much, right? Getting back to the Righteous Valkyrie, this is going to gain us a bunch of life over time. It's going to have a target on its face, so again, it's one of those angels where the opponent wants to use their removal spells on it to get rid of it, which means later in the game our angel tokens aren't eating as many removal spells and they're sticking around, which is cool. But if it does stay in play, a lot of times with the high toughness that a lot of these creatures that we're playing have, we're gaining enough life for this double Anthem effect to come online, and at that point we just completely take over the board. Like when you have 6/6 flying vigilant creatures that are just going wide, it's insane. Being able to swing with evasion, still have your blockers, and then have them remove your opponent's creatures if they die because of Rampage of the Valkyries, it gets out of control. The other 3-drops we have in the 3-drop slot is the Skyclave Apparition, because it's absolutely amazing as removal, right? A lot of times we don't care if they get the token creature back. We can deal with the token creature, but being able to remove a key permanent and not let them get it back like they can with like Banishing Light, if they were to destroy a Banishing Light, is really, really important. And again, the Skyclave Apparition is another target that we can Flicker of Fate and get another use out of. So like I said before, there's just tons of synergy. The last card I want to talk about is Eradicator Valkyrie. Now, we're trying this as a one-of. I'm not 100% convinced yet that this makes the cut, but there are certain situations where this is just absolutely insane, right? Obviously, if they're playing a Super Friends deck, they can't kill this with their Planeswalkers, which is awesome. Beyond that, it can gain life for you with its lifelink. So sometimes it can get you that last bit of life you need in order to turn on the Righteous Valkyrie's double Anthem effect. But its boast ability is where it really shines. You can sacrifice any creature, and the opponent has to sacrifice a creature or a Planeswalker. So if you have Eradicator Valkyrie swinging in, and you've got a Rampage with the Valkyries out, you can boast and sacrifice one of your angels, or your Apparition. Like say you ate an Innkeeper on turn 3, and you just have this sitting under. You can sacrifice the Apparition to the Valkyrie and get rid of one of their big threats, and then they just get a 1/1 back, right? Or you can sacrifice any of your angels while Rampage is out, and they have to sacrifice 2 things, one to the boast ability and one because one of your angels died for the Rampage of the Valkyries. So that gets absolutely nutty. Rounding it out, we've got 1 copy of Agadeem's Awakening here, just because there is a chance where in the mid to late game we might be able to blow them out by getting back one of our 2-drops, our Righteous Valkyrie or our Apparition, and our Legion Angel or our Eradicator Valkyrie, all with 1 card for 7 mana. And if that situation comes up, it can be absolutely devastating for our opponent. That being said, let's really quickly just go over the sideboard. And the sideboard in this deck is really important. So obviously we have the 3 Legion Angels. And then we have 4 Duress, which is kind of a staple in most decks that can run black. Take out problems that we might not need to be able to deal with other ways. You know, pull really problematic cards out of their hand before they have a chance to drop them. Ugin. We've got 1 Masked Vandal, because sometimes we want to go up to 3, because we keep our angel synergies going while also giving ourselves the ability to get rid of problem artifact and enchantments. And then we've got 3 Redains. Now, Redain is great because if they're playing sweepers, if we're up against a control deck, we could slam a Redain, and then it's super hard for them to wipe the board early enough. And a lot of times we can just get there before they hit their 6 mana, which is really, really great. So against just the right decks, Redain is a great inclusion for the sideboard. It can absolutely come in. The 2 cards that really make this sideboard shine are Orvar the All-Form and Crippling Fear. Now, Crippling Fear is super cool, especially in this deck, and it's why I want to go best of 3. So Crippling Fear, choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. So obviously you sideboard this in if they're playing aggro, if they're trying to go wide, and you completely decimate their side of the board while naming Angel, and you don't kill anything on your side, which by itself can be incredibly devastating. But then you take into account the synergy this has with Firja's Retribution. So you could slam Firja's Retribution, and then the next turn when it hits Chapter 2, play Crippling Fear. And then even if they have some creatures that are big enough to survive the Crippling Fear, now those creatures have -3/-3, which means theoretically they're most likely small enough that Chapter 2 gives you the ability to have any of your Angel tokens be able to tap and kill them. If they have a Kroxa or some other 6/6 on their side of the board and you Crippling Fear and now it's a 3/3, all of a sudden all of your 4/4 Vigilance Angel tokens have a high enough power to tap on Chapter 2 and kill that creature, which is absurd. The fact that you can attack with it first because of Vigilance and then still do that ability is insane. So the amount of synergy Crippling Fear has with Firja's Retribution is awesome. And honestly, in future versions of this deck, we may go up to 2 in the main and 2 in the side because there's just so many circumstances where Crippling Fear with Firja's Retribution can just be so devastating for the opponent. The last card in our sideboard is really techie. Now this is Orvar the All form, and as you'll see in some of the games coming up, what's great about Orvar, especially as a sideboard card, is we don't even ever have to play it, right? We do have one Zagoth Triome in the deck, because we can theoretically fetch it with one of our 4 copies of Binding the Old Gods, and have that blue. So if we need to play Orvar after siding it in, there's the potential to at least. But most of the time, what you do is you side in Orvar against Rakdos Sacrifice, or any other deck that's going to be playing a lot of discard, like Turgid. And then you just sit there and you hold it in your hand, which is why we don't want more than 2 copies, because you don't want to be stuck with a couple of these in your hand and then not have plays to make. But you keep one of these in your hand, and then the next time they make you discard a card, you just choose to discard the Orvar, and all of a sudden, instead of discarding a card, you're making a copy of your Rampage of the Valkyries, which is also generating another token, and then making it so that every time an angel dies, now they have to sacrifice 2 creatures. Or you can make a copy of Binding to kill something. You can make a copy of Firja's Retribution to make more angels and stack up more chapters. Like, there's so much you can do to just completely blow out Rakdos or any kind of discard-oriented deck with Orvar in the sideboard. So I think it's insane. I really love the direction that this Angels deck in particular is going, and I think that the token generation that Angels has access to is really what's mostly overlooked by a lot of people trying to go Angel Tribal. So we're doubling down on it with this deck. The games are insane. We've got a game 1 and a game 2 against Rakdos, and a couple other games that we got. Let's jump into it. We keep this. This is good. We're not going to play the Masked Vandal on turn 2 unless we have to. We'd much rather foretell a Starnheim Unleashed and then play the Valkyrie, and then be able to gain life when we play the Starnheim Unleashed and the Vandal. That deck looks bananas, Zach. Absolute insanity. I don't even know what to think of it. It's so crazy. Alright, so we are going to need double white. So we'll play this black. And we'll foretell. Does mean we're way off of playing the Vandal. But the Vandal isn't going to do a whole lot anyway. His Brushfire Elementals, the Vandal can't block, right? And we are going to need... We still need land. Oh, you updated it? I'll have to check the new list. It's just got so much craziness crammed into one deck. I was looking at it and I was like, oh man. Ooh, gross. In a good way. Yeah, we take 5. fine. That's fine. We just need a land. Just give me a land. I'll be so happy. Nope. Well, we're gonna have to slam Starnheim for 1 then. Gain some life. Swing 2. Drops the Fabled Passage. Attacks with the Elemental again. But honestly, it's probably fine. We let it through. We can survive it now. At least for this turn, there's no need to chump block. No blocks. Hold it back against the Phoenix. That seems pretty good. Green. Retribution. Gain 4 more life. Can't pump it right. We definitely don't want to block with it. Now we have 2 angel blockers. And he should be out of Fabled Passages. That's fine. That is completely fine. Let's get those elementals out of here. Yes, you can kill one of my angels. That's fine. Like, I kind of want a Masked Vandal to gain life. Alright, he's just gonna scoop. Alright, well, we got him. We got him. This is actually fine. Turn 2, we can foretell a Starnheim Unleashed. And then if we're really desperate, on turn 3, we can just play it and make 1 angel. But the hope is somewhere in the next 3 cards that we'll draw by then, we'll find a 3-drop. We won't have to. Or even a 2-drop. So we'll lead with a Triome. Another Triome, huh? Well, definitely not going to need green. I'm going to play this as black. We're going to foretell Starnheim Unleashed. You know. Do we need a 4/4 angel? Or can we wait? I think we can wait. It's only 3 damage, right? We can wait. Next turn we can Binding, kill the Woe Strider. Or we can Esika's Chariot to block it. In fact, that might be the better choice. Yeah, I think we Esika's Chariot first. Could also just flicker his token away here, but I think that's kind of wasteful. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to play this for white. I'm going to play the Chariot. And the Chariot's great because now we have multiple blockers. So he can't just use a piece of spot removal and get through. Right? He needs to use at least 2. If he doesn't use any spot removal, we crew the Chariot. And we don't even lose anything. So I think we make white with the pathway. Well, we're going to do this. Resolve. Would you like to attack in, sir? Didn't think so. So we'll play this for white. We have 5 mana. What do we want to do with it? Here's what we want to do with it. Right? No. This is what we want to do with it. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be fun. Guys, this deck is nutty. You see what I'm about to do here? You see what I'm about to do? Now we've got angels. Now we crew the chariot with one of the angels. We attack with the chariot. And we make another angel. Let's go. And I mean, he might have Extinction Event. But if he does, we still keep our chariot because it goes back to being a vehicle. Right? And he loses his tokens. So yeah, we lose a lot more, but it doesn't blow us out, you know? Even if he has Extinction Event, it's not the be-all, end-all answer. Come on. You can do it, Rakdos Sac. You're gonna have a really bad day when I sideboard in the Orvars. Let's see what he targets. We are gonna crew the chariot with that just to tap it. Just to tap it. Alright, claiming the firstborn. Well, let's do it again. I'm pretty sure it'll untap anyway. Kinda stinks, but it is what it is. Is what it is. Well, it is now, right? It wasn't a creature. What I'm really interested to know, and I'm not going to do this, so it might not matter. Hold on, what do I want to do here? I mean, I could just Binding the Akroan War, right? I could also play Firja's Retribution. Let's just Binding the Acroan War. He'll have to sack the Angel. Oh, he wasn't smart enough. Well. Oh well. We'll swing at the Chariot. Get another one. Hold back the 2/2 as a blocker. I'd much rather have it to make him hold back attacking with the Woe Strider if he has removal for the Angel here. That's fine. What's cool is if I had one more mana up, I could have just flickered it. It's not only would have saved it, but would have gave me 2 more cats. We have so many cats. We have so many cats. So if I draw a mana next turn, what I'm going to do is foretell the Starnheim Unleashed, slam a Youthful Valkyrie, and then hold up Flicker of Fate, flicker the Binding on his turn to take out some big threat. I don't think this Rakdos player ever expected Angel Tribal of all things to get the better of him. Granted, the game's not over yet. We'll get rid of Binding. We're going to reactivate this one anyway. And our other stuff just has a ton of value. Ton of value. So we'll grab, might as well grab the Zagoth Triome. 5 mana still. So we can either play a Youthful Valkyrie and hold up a Flicker, or we can play Firja's Retribution. I think the Flicker is too important. Yeah. I'm gonna put down another creature. And now we're gonna swing. With 12 Vigilance Flying. Get him down to 10. End turn. We're going to try to use the Flicker in a way that blows him out if we can. If he goes to attacks, we just Flicker and kill the Kroxa before attacks. He doesn't have enough in the yard to play it. Kill a Kroxa. Or maybe we should just kill the Woe Strider. We could just double block with 2 Angels and trade an Angel for a Kroxa, right? This would be so good. Alright, this looks fine. Slam this as white. We're hoping to draw into a Starnheim Unleashed if we can. Or even just the 2-drop. The 2-drop Angel would be fine. And we probably won't. And that's fine. Kroxa. Good old Kroxa. We dump. I don't love it. but I think it's right. So turn 3 we'll play the Valkyrie. And then he'll probably... Well, he won't be able to bring Proxa back yet. But at some point, he's going to try and bring back Proxa. So this will probably just eat a piece of removal. And that's fine. Maybe we should get Cap to play Terraria with us so we can show off our builds. That'd be fun. Alright, so he did the thing we expected, right? Use Shredded Sails of all things. He needs to kill those angels, I guess. Slam black. Play the Eradicator Valkyrie. Just keep doing removal checks. You got removal now? No? How about now? Play your Valky. play Tybalt with this guy in play. That'll be fun. I don't know how I feel about this guy. I like him right now. It's just a one of in here. To test him out. He is super, super fun. But I don't know if he synergizes well enough. Alright, so we might as well play the Triome. Because we're going to play this. And eat this. Another one. Alright then. We're just fighting. No, it's mine! No, it's mine! I saw it first. Alright, we're gonna eat it again. And I'm actually not even gonna play that land. I'm gonna hold it back. Because if he has some kind of discard, which he probably does, I want to be able to discard the pathway and not one of these rampages. If we can get both of these rampages down, it's going to be brutal. Alright. So Rampage is an insanely good foil to the Predator. Not quick enough, but that's okay. Do we have the mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, next turn's gonna be insane. We'll gain some life. So next turn what we do is we play the second Rampage. We swing with the Valkyrie. We sack a creature to the Boast. God damn it. How many Akroan Wars is he gonna pull? Dude, 3 Akroan Wars in the top 15 cards? Come on. It's almost like you're playing against someone who complains about RNG, right? Jesus Christ, man. Do we slam the second Rampage, or do we slam Emeria's Call? That's the real question. We're going to slam the second Rampage now. And then we'll play Emeria's Call when we have to attack. That way, Apparition will be protected by the Indestructible. And he'll have to sacrifice twice as many angels if he blocks anything. We're actually going to hold both of these in our hand for now, because we can drop the land and play the call next turn. But if he hits us with discard, we want to be able to get rid of the pathway and keep the call. So he's going to lose his whole board. I mean, sure. And what's beautiful is if he boasts right now, we sack our Apparition. He gets back a 4/4 token, but he sacked one of his dudes to boast. Which means he still then has to sack 2 guys. He sacks the 4/4 token he gets, and he sacks the Predator. So either way, it would have been really bad for him right there. Get out of here. Get out of here. Brutal, brutal board position. He needs to take out that Emeria's Call in our hand. He doesn't know it. If he doesn't do that, it's game over. Like, 1 angel on the field with these 2 Valkyries is something he can play around. 2 is like... how many turns does that put you off? Having to wait to have enough removal to deal with all the creatures. Why did he take that? Oh, because he's going to do that. Alright, I guess that's kind of smart. Does completely run him out of cards, though. Which is an awkward decision. So we'll just make 2 angels. Can he deal with threats? He can bring back a Kroxa. But what's great is they have Vigilance. So they're swinging in for 8. And then they're still blocking the Kroxa. Come on. Ooh, we got a blue card. Well, at least we have something to discard to Kroxa, right? Quick aside, we were originally trying to test adding the blue into the main deck a little bit more since we were using Orvars in the sideboard. So we tried out a copy of Bears of Littjara, and we decided to cut it in the end. But in this game, the bears are in there. So in case you're wondering why we drew that, that's why it's there. Oh wait, they don't have Vigilance? Oh, those ones don't have Vigilance. I guess it doesn't really matter. Ah, got you. So, Gigantha. Ooh, this is going to be beautiful. No attacks for now. We could just make him sack his whole board. Not only that, but when he swings with the Kroxa, we discard the Orvar. And we make another Rampage. Suck it, Trebek. Ooh, he is working that Kroxa, though. So he can get me to 1, unless I have something to discard. Well, that's pretty good. It's all down to his top deck. And a haste guy won't work. Good game. Whoo! So what do we got? Black, green, no white. No white. 2 Rampage of the Valkyries. We're gonna have to mulligan this. Alright, this is much better. We'll keep it. I think we dump the flicker. Yeah, long week. Unpleasant. It's been weird. I'll just say that. We are going to need the second black for Crippling Fear. But if we can slam 2 Youthful Valkyries and follow it up with a Crippling Fear, that'll just... that'll just wipe him. Crippling Fear is amazing in the sideboard. Since we're playing Angels Tribal, it doesn't touch our Angels at all. Not only that, it DL makes Firja's Retribution better. Because all their creatures get -3/-3, so even their big creatures that don't die are going to get small enough that when Chapter 2 of Firja's Retribution kicks in, we can kill them all with our Angels. So it's just super good. Alright, we'll play this as a second black source and play another Valkyrie. So next turn we drop this as green and then we Crippling Fear and wipe out his entire board. And what's great is he can't even Selfless Savior to protect it. The only way he would keep something alive is if he plays a second Aspirant and puts a counter on Hollowblade this turn, which he didn't do. No blocks, we'll go to 11. It's gonna be brutal. Crippling Fear. He thinks he can discard a card to protect Hollowblade and sack the Savior to protect the Aspirant. That's fine. That's fine. Angel. Now we'll start getting in there. So I guess we'll use Youthful Valkyrie. Make these guys bigger. And we'll just try to race. We need 1 more land, 1 more white. And we should be in complete and utter good shape. Or really 1 more land of anything and we can play Rampage. And then he's screwed. If we can play Rampage, he's done. None of his indestructible stuff can protect against him having to sacrifice. Esika's Chariot. We'll swing with all of our flyers. So now it's just a matter of chump blocking with our cats. The fact that we're doing as well as we are right now without our second white is a testament to how good this deck really is. thanks so much for checking out my channel. We are pushing hard for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please consider subscribing. Hit that button. There's a circle in the middle over there. Hit that, subscribe, tell all your friends to do it. Thank you. Also, give this video a like so more people can see it. If you'd like more PlayStation and console game coverage, we've got that down below. And if you'd like more Magic the Gathering coverage, there's more of that somewhere off over that way. Do all the things.